Today is Sunday. It's day 23 of the rough fire. My name is Bob Plouffe. I'm the Human Resources Director here at the lake.
My name is Robert Carey and I work up here in the grounds department at Hume Lake Christian Camps.
Well, we had the Father-Son Adventure Camp planned. The week before, we had just said goodbye to about 405 summer staff. That helped us get through 10 weeks of summer. And then going into the adult ministries world, we were getting ready, Chuck Bossman, all geared up to go with Father-Son Adventure Camp. However, with the fire, we had to evacuate. So our attention was diverted elsewhere. This past week, the Lord had something different in mind. I've actually been responsible for logistics and infrastructure since we were evacuated. So I've been jumping in wherever, like a lot of the other team that remained on the hill, to keep things rolling for all these firefighters that have been coming through.
On this incident, I was responsible for Engine 70. I was the apparatus operator, so driving the rig, being responsible for pumping, handling communications, and just assisting my captain with whatever he needs.
I'm also one of the captains on our fire crew up here, and my son and I were both prescribed to the water tender, and we've been able to man that since this incident started.
Just getting to do that has been amazing.
So we weren't able to do the Father-Son Adventure Camp, although it's been a different kind of adventure, and it's been hard adventure, but one that I will look back for the rest of my life fondly. It was hard to watch what was coming our way, but man, what an adventure, and one that I will always remember and I will always adore. And I pray that the Lord allows me to keep my memory, because these are fond memories. I got to watch my son attack this thing with all he had, and not the kind of father-son adventure you look at thinking, not going to say it wasn't fun. There were points where it was, but there were a lot of points where it was unsettling, and but I learned a lot about who my son really is, and I'm very proud of this man standing next to me. Watching him in action with the fire and rescue crew up here at Hume Lake, I got my eyes widened quite a bit, and I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful that His hand continues to remain over this place, and it's been quite an adventure.
Same thing, it's just been wild. Going from having hundreds of buses up here to having hundreds of engines and water tenders and strike teams. I mean, it's been unreal, just the transition. And same thing, just being able to see how God has moved in this last week and being able to witness. I mean, just 3 days ago we were staring down a huge pyrocumulus cloud and just barreling straight towards the dam. And next thing we know, it's 3 or 4 days later, and the fire's kind of skirted around 10 Mile, and they're pretty confident it's going to hold. And so just being able to see how God has just literally set His hand over this place and how He's moved, it has been phenomenal.
And that's what this whole thing, I think, has been about. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of firefighters up here, and the comments that I've gotten from our staff the things that we've been able to do in serving them. You know, in, like Jordan was saying, in the kitchen, serving them meals at 4:30 in the morning, and then being out with them at midnight, out on the fire line, supplying them water. And just to hear the comments that these guys have made is just unbelievable. And I think that, you know, no matter what happens in this situation, God has used it mightily for His glory. And that has been the most awesome thing to see. You know, being out on the fire line and actually watching the fire and doing what it's doing. One minute you think, my gosh, our camp is going to burn down, and the next minute you see the power of God shifting wind, and you're watching 100-foot flames going completely the opposite way from where we're at. God has been mighty and awesome in this whole situation.
This morning we just got out of Memorial Chapel. We had our own little worship service this morning at 9. John White, the chaplain for Firefighters for Christ International, led us.
And there are people here today, this morning, that want to be, I know that, there's guys here this morning that want to be that man whose God is searching for, whose heart is completely His.
And well, he presented the gospel head on, and if anybody that knows John White, that's what he does.
Anyone who calls on Him will be saved if you have Jesus.
And this morning someone stood to receive Christ. I don't know how God plans things. I know He's sovereign, but it's hard for me to not think that could God cause a fire like this or an incident like this to bring someone into the kingdom. I'm not going to stand here and say that seems, to me that totally makes sense. And God has done crazier things from man's perspective. So it was just a sweet time. Probably had maybe 30 guys in there, but when John presented the gospel at the end and that gentleman stood to receive Christ, that's what Hume Lake is all about.